Hello and welcome to one of our first train series videos from RC Empire. Today I want to show you these amazing Hornby train sets that I picked up for an unbelievable price at our local car boot. We will first take a look at both boxes and the content in each of them before putting one to the side and taking a look at the other in more detail. We will then take some measurements and quickly compare these sets to an older Hornby set from the 1980s and finally set up the track and see the train rolling for the first time. So let's get straight into it. The Lakelander we have here is the least common of the two. The livery is based on the LMS trains, or the London Midland Scottish Railway Company. And this engine is based on the Class 040. The box, as you can see, is decorated really nice, and on the front you can see exactly what's included and the track layout. It's second hand as mentioned, and the corners of the boxes are a bit rough and torn up, but hopefully inside it should be undamaged. Now the second set we picked up is the Blue Highlander. Now this seems to be more common on the market, and I've seen a few more of these around for sale. This is actually based on a 040ST series engine, and I've actually also seen this exact same engine branded as the Caledonia Belle by Hornby. Again, this is second hand, and the box on this one is a little worse off, but it's not too bad. On the back of the box you have some track layouts and track expansion packs you can buy, as well as some optional extras and a few warnings. As you can see, both of these include one engine, 5 carriages and identical tracks and trackside pieces. Now quickly, before we open the newer sets, I just want to show you this old industrial freight set from Hornby, bought in 1982. You can see that this is the exact same series of kit with one engine and 5 carriages. It came in a slightly thinner box and included a different type of control box, and we will be comparing this engine to the newer one later on. So if we quickly open the two kits up, see that the Blue Highlander includes this nice mat if you choose to use it, and this one is made of thin card. The Lakelander actually includes this nice set of documents as well, including an owner's manual, which has maintenance and running guides, and also tips on how to set up your running board, which is nice to have included. As you can see, both sets are absolutely mint. With the Lakelander, the polystyrene is still fresh and the pylons and extras are still in their packages. And with both these sets, you also get these little sheds to set up around the track. They're not super detailed, but it's just something fun to get you started, and they seem to be quite tough as well. Now it was worth noting that apart from the actual locomotives and the carriages, both these sets are identical. They both come with the same amount of track, same control boxes and same extra bits and pieces, so they are completely compatible with each other. Now you can see with the Lakelander set, it even has the original elastic bands holding the track together, so that's how you would expect to find them new. Okay. So here's the London Midland Scotland engine, and again, it is absolutely brand new. This one actually feels a little bit plasticky compared to the Blue Highlander, but it seems really solid and does have a nice weight to it. There on the bottom you can see made in China, and the drive gear sticking out the bottom, which is meshed to the worm gear on the motor. Now in terms of size, this is a 1/76th scale set, or 00 set. The length of the engine is around 130mm, including the hooks on the front and back, and the width is around 30 to 35mm. Just to give you an idea of the length of the track, this is a 3rd radius double curved track, and from the front to the end in a straight line, it's about 39mm long. You also get 2 shorter sections, part number R600, measuring around 170mm, and you also get 2 double straights, part number R601, which is around 330mm. So if we put the Lakelander away for now, we will concentrate on the Blue Highlander and take a look at the kit and track in more detail before we set this up and get it running. As mentioned, personally I think this has a much nicer feel, and maybe it's because of the way the plastic is shaped. This doesn't have the squared shape with the flat plates of plastic on either side. But as you can see, unfortunately the chimney on this one is broken, which is no big deal. Now what I wanted to show you is a comparison with this and the older engine we have, and even though they are around 30 years apart, they are near enough identical. Every rivet is the same, the leaf suspension, the boiler, every single detail. The only difference is the different coloured gear, and one says made in Great Britain and the other says made in China. And they have even both lost their front chimney. Now if we take a closer look at the track, you can see that the sleepers have this nice wood grain effect printed onto them. If we take another piece of track, you can see that on one end of each rail there is a piece of crimped metal, and to connect the track together you need to slide one section of the rail into this crimped metal to create a contact. Included in this kit is also a lane changer, now just to give you an idea of the size of this double O track, the width of the rails from the outside is 19mm. More commonly however, you will see the measurement of the inside of the track, and for double O gauge track this is 16.5mm. We can also see the length of the sleepers, which are around 29.5mm. And finally, the length of the crimped section of metal is 14.5mm, and it will have half of this on either side of the rail. Before we move on to setting this up, I just wanted to show you the quality of the carriages and give you an idea of their sizes. Now each carriage is exactly 35mm wide, but they do vary in length. They have 2 fixed axles and are pretty simple in their construction, with the quality being quite nice. The only thing that I would say is delicate on these carriages and to be careful not to bend are the hooks on the front and back. And as we saw before, you also get some trackside pieces with this set, including this basic buffer stop, and this clips onto the side of the rail securely with these little tabs on either side. And finally, if we take a look at the standard control box, you have your speed controller wheel in the middle, which allows you to stop, speed up or slow down the engine, and you also have your forward and reverse switch on the right. And it's worth mentioning that the switch won't work if the engine is moving. It's got a fail-safe locking type mechanism to stop you throwing the motor into reverse whilst it's moving. On the top of the box we have our 19-volt input socket, and on the back we've got 2 holes where you can screw the box onto a board or onto the wall. And that all fits nicely in there. Now the way this will connect to the track is via this little junction box. On one end of the control box you have this 2-pinned plug, and this slides into the junction box with these spring-loaded connectors, which give a little bit of resistance to the plug and stop it falling out. Although what's nice with this design is that they do not lock the plug in place, so if you kick the wire it will just pull out. These are the track sections that are included with this set, and this is actually classed by Hornby as Track Pack A, part number R8221, and it is really a good amount of track, especially if you are just starting out. And finally, this is the final oval layout, which includes all the supplied pieces of track. Now I've set it up on quite a bumpy carpet so you can see how it handles, because a lot of people who will get a set like this might not have a dedicated room to set it up in with a nice flat surface. So let's see the Blue Highlander in action. Plug your 19-volt adapter into the back of the control box, connect the plug into the junction box, and place the engine on the rails. And if we slowly rotate the control wheel, we are off. You can switch it into reverse once the engine has stopped. And I'll just show you a little speed run with the engine getting up to full speed with no load and no carriages. Okay, just to show you, in case you've never had a train set and were wondering how they work, to add the carriages it is very easy. Just place them on the track and push them up to the carriage in front, and the hooks will clip in place by themselves. And what's fun is you can even reverse the train onto the carriage with the control box and hook it onto the carriage behind. Switch the direction back to forward and off we go. So you can see we are now fully loaded up with all the carriages included in the set, and we can still get some good speed up. We can do a launch and emergency stops. But be careful, because the track will sometimes come apart and lose contact, especially if it's not fixed and on carpet. And also make sure on carpet that you don't get any dust or fluff or hair caught in the mechanisms, because it will mean more maintenance and cleaning. And finally, I've also added the rest of the carriages from our older sets, filling a total of 9. And these old carriages fit perfectly on our new track with no issue at all. And that's it. I know it's been a long video, but I hope you've enjoyed it and seen a few new things. Please rate and subscribe, and if you would like to see anything in more detail or have any questions, drop us a comment or send us a message. Enjoy the rest of the video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon.